It's lit night time. Hello, welcome to another episode of Lit Ladies Podcast, and this segment is called Lit Night. I'm Tori, your host of tonight. So today's episode is kind of like an extension of the previous episode because in the previous episode of Lit Nights, I gave you guys a bunch of book recommendations of all kinds for this fall season. So I thought that how about this time I share and discuss and talk about the things that I am currently reading. Most of these books kind of also fit the fall theme, or just books of all genres. So without further ado, let's get started. So one of the things is that I read way too many books together. I would say that I kind of like read almost more than 100 books at the same time, but I will not go through all the 100 books, but instead, I would mostly mention the books that I have read a lot recently and are the kinds of books that I plan to read pretty soon. So today's first book is called Dracula Jonathan Harker's Rebuttal by Bruce T. Forbes. Thing is, it's this one is kind of like a retelling of Dracula, but I can't really say that I want to recommend this book to anyone. I mean, it's good, like not that good. It's kind of like so far from what I've read here, it's an interviewer interviews Jonathan Harker, and Jonathan Harker so far told what sort of torture he went through in Dracula's castle. So far, I'm there. It kind of reads like a pulp fiction, to be honest. But I guess since I have the book with me, I'm like, why not read it? I don't know what the final rating of this book is gonna be. It's pretty short and easy to go through. I mean, if you're in the mood for it. And yes, it's mainly gothic fiction, but the atmosphere of this book isn't like traditional gothic fiction. You could just call it modern gothic. All right, next book. This one's a Bangla novel by Humayun Ahmed, and it's called Parapar. So this is the fourth book in the Hemu series, and like every other Hemu series, Hemu book so far, this one is kind of like slice of life. Yeah, to be honest, there's not much that can be said about any of the Hemo books because in most stories, in most of the, actually in all of the Hemo novels, Hemo just, goes and visits random people and does whatever he feels like. It's almost nonsensical because Hemo is the kind of person who would follow anti-logic. Sorry, quick coffee break. I think you guys should grab your any sort of hot or cold beverage just to get cozy. So the thing is, Barbara is like the last Hemo novel that I'm supposed to read because I read all the other Hemo novels, and so far I'm not so sure if Barbara is like any different from any of those. But one of my friends told me that this book is different, so hopefully I will be pleasantly surprised by the time I finish this one. Although, I guess I did say that I have read all the other Hulu novels, but I haven't read everything in the series, especially the companion books like Himu Babar Kotamala, which means that the codes from Himu's father, and Himu Shakatkar Ebong Onnanno, if I translate it, is it means that Himu's interview and other short stories. I did read the title of short story in this collection, but I haven't read the other, and I don't know if the rest of the stories in this collection is related to him or not. but I did read the one that is called Himu's Interview. Interestingly, the content in this short story has nothing to do with Himu's interview. Yeah, it's just ironic. And another one that is left, I don't know if I can call it a Himu related book, but it's called Himu Mama, which means Uncle Himu. And it's a children's book. And Himu series isn't necessarily a children's series, but oh well, those are the companion books. I plan to read them at some point later. For now, we'll stick to Parapar. Next book is, so I haven't really started this, but I really want to because I don't know, it's just something I will admit, even though I'm reading this in my Kindle, the book, I just feel like wanting to buy this book on covers and just hold it. And I've been having this feeling since, I don't know, 2K19, and yet I never got to buy the hard copy. But this book is called Magpie Murders by Anthony Horowitz. And yeah, I did say a lot of good things about this, and I think the structure of this novel is like a story within a story, but we'll see. It has something to do with writing and editors and things like that. So yeah, it's in my radar. Next book, I haven't started this, but I also want to, like, it's like on the top list of my books, and I did open it, and it's called Minor Detail by Adania Shibli. Adania Shibli is a Palestinian author, and yeah, this book is going to be super sad, and I don't know. I feel like I need to read more books written by Palestinian authors, fiction and nonfiction, and yeah, I'm looking forward to reading this. It's a very sad book, I've heard. Next is a novel. This is a pretty interesting novel because it's called LMNOP written by Mark Dunn. So LMNOP is kind of like a pun of LMNOP, and it's an epistolary novel. And the plot of this story is, I don't know the exact plot so far, but as you can say that I kind of go into books without reading anything about it. So what I tell you is mainly what I know or what I've read so far from the books. So far the concept, so this is kind of like a lipogram. Lipogram is like, well, I think it's better to just give you the definition of what lipogram is. Wait a sec. So lipogram means a written text deliberately composed of words not having a certain letter. So in this one, the country, I don't know, what is the name of the country? Nolopton? I think it's called Nolopton. So the country has this statue, in LMNOP, the country has this statue where there's a sentence written in that statue that is called "The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog." So this sentence has all the 26 letters. So what happens is that the story takes place as, like, letters coming back and forth. I'm still in chapter 1. So what happens is that one day, some of the letters, like one or two letter, falls down from this sentence, "The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog," and the government of that country, Nulupton, or that area, Nulupton, they decide not to use the letters that fell from the statue at all. So there's kind of like a constraint that happened. And now, as the people residing there, they have to communicate without using those letters. So what happens is that as the story progresses, the letters kind of get more weird and nonsensical over time because they cannot use certain letters. Like, there's a constraint happening. So I found this concept pretty interesting, and that's why I started reading this. So far, it's I'm still at chapter one, so I haven't really seen how weird it gets, but people say that it's a pretty fun book. So that's it. Next book that I have is The Ice Palace, and it's written by it's The Ice Palace by Tarjay Vesas. It's well, it's a Norwegian book, and the story tells the tale of Sis and Un, two friends who have only spent one evening in each other's company. The reason I chose this book is because it kind of kept on coming in my suggestions, and I was like, let's check this book out and see what's it about. Like, it's like highly praised and everything, and I want to read a story that's like, takes place in the Scandinavian icy areas, and I want to read and learn about, just cold nature and cold atmosphere being alive in words. So this is like one of the primary reasons I picked this book up. It also kind of reminded me of The Ice Palace by F. Scott Fitzgerald because, it takes place in an icy place, but obviously the plot isn't not the same. Okay, the next one I have is The Atlas Six by Olivia Blake. This one's a very popular book talk book that kind of blew up pretty much after it got published a few years ago. And it's a dark academia novel. And, well, the story is about a competition of six people, and probably one of them might die, whoever loses in the game. I'm yet to see. I don't want to know what happens for now. So, yeah, that's all I have. So, since it's a dark academia and it's a fantasy novel as well, I am interested to see how the two genre blends. And dark academia seems like super fun. I haven't read that many dark academia novels before, but I do really want to. The next book I'm reading is a nonfiction self-help book suggested by my friend Fab, and I have seen many of my friends pick it up as well, and I thought I should check it out as well. It's called Atomic Habits, written by James Clear, and it's pretty self-explanatory, the title, and so far I am really much enjoying it. It's like, you know, the story, well, not the story, the concept, the advices, everything comes with a story and illustrations of scenarios, and I absolutely love it. Also, the advices, they're like super good, I think. I, yeah, I definitely recommend this to anyone who wants to help themselves with and learn the art of maintaining habits. Like coffee break. It feels like I'm giving some sort of ASMR. The next book that I have, I read quite a few chapters of this one, and it's a cozy mystery called The Thursday Murder Club, written by Richard Osman. So this one's, I mean, so far what I've read, it's quite simple, not that fun. I don't know. I think I'm looking for the Agatha Christie sort of fun in any cozy mystery that I pick up. But the synopsis slash description of this book is in a peaceful retirement village, four unlikely friends meet up once a week to investigate unsolved murders. But when a brutal killing takes place on their very doorstep, Thursday Murder Club find themselves in the middle of their first live case. Elizabeth, Joyce, Ibrahim, and Ron might be pushing 80, but they still have a few tricks up their sleeves. Can our unorthodox but brilliant gang catch the killer before it's too late. So I think there's recently been an adaptation of this novel as well, but I haven't watched it. But this book, I would say it's like quite funny at times, so far from what I've read. And well, I think my most favorite character so far would be Elizabeth, but I don't know. We'll see. So the next one is, I don't know if I should call it what I'm currently reading because I only read one page of this book, but yeah, it's like on my TBR sort of shelf table beside my bed, and want to read this, but slowly. But it's called The Litigators by John Grisham. And the synopsis, not the synopsis, what is it called? I don't know. Blurb is David Zink has it all, big firm, big salary, life in the fast lane until the day he snaps and throws it all away. Leaving the world of corporate law far behind, he tucks himself in a new job with Finley and Fig, a self-styled boutique firm with only two partners. Oscar Finley and Wally Fig are ambulance-chasing street lawyers who hustle nickel and dime cases, dreaming of landing the big win. But for all his Harvard Law degree and 5 years with Chicago top firm, Zink has never entered a courtroom, never helped a client who really needed a lawyer, never handled a gun. All that is about to change. From what I've read, which is just only one page, it was written like super fun way. Like, thrillers are like fast paced and fun. Yeah. So it definitely has that from page one. But I think I should finish the whole thing and then just say what I think of the book. But we'll see. The next book I borrowed from Newbie, my friend. You might have heard about her in other episodes. So it's called The 40 Rules of Love, written by Elif Shafak. And the description of this is Ella Rubinstein has a husband, 3 children, 3 teenage children, and a pleasant home. Everything that should make her confident and fulfilled, yet there is an emptiness at the heart of Ella's life, an emptiness once filled by love. So when Ella reads a manuscript about 13th century Sufi poet Rumi and Shams of Tabriz and his 40 rules of life and love, she is shocked out of herself. Turning her back on her family, she embarks on a journey to meet the mysterious author of this work. It is a quest infused with Sufi mysticism and verse, taking Ella and us into an exotic world where faith and love are heartbreakingly explored. I have read pretty much like 65% of this book, and I don't know. I have mixed feelings. The writing of this book is very poignant. I really enjoyed the writing, and it has a great flow and everything. But, and it's also a story within a story, which is perfectly my thing. But for some unknown reason, I just didn't like, I don't know. I couldn't really connect to the characters. It's not that I could relate to them. I definitely couldn't relate to them, but I just couldn't connect to them. Also, one of the things, well, two of the things that bothered me a great deal is that, well, the what is it called? The spouses, the two spouses in this relationship, Ella and her husband, they both cheat. And I guess some people would be like, oh, Ella didn't cheat. Her husband definitely did. And I think I gave spoilers, but anyway, her husband definitely gave and cheated. But she also kind of cheated, or this is how I interpreted it, and it kind of made me super uncomfortable reading those parts. But anyway, next book. Okay, I don't know why I read this book here. I really want to read it, and I read a certain amount of this book, but I forgot everything I read. And I read this like quite a long ago. So I have to start from the beginning, and it's Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. So it's like a perfect gothic book for perfect for fall season, and you know, I've heard the characters are like very unlikable, which is great. I like that. I like that. I appreciate that personally. So we'll see. This is not really currently reading, but I really want to go into this. Next book I also borrowed from Newbie, and it's Istanbul, Memories in the City, written by Orhan Pamuk. So this is a memoir, I think. A memoir, yeah, it's memoir or biography, I don't know. Probably a memoir. But, well, it's about the childhood of the writer, and I absolutely love it so far, and I really look forward to it because the writing is perfect, the pacing is perfect, the words are just the right words. I don't know. Orhan Pamuk is definitely a talented guy. No wonder he won the Nobel Prize. Next book is, well, this is another borrowed book. I borrowed it from my sister, and well, people say it's a suspense book and it's a thriller book. I think it's suspense, not thriller, because thrillers are generally fast-paced. But anyway, this is Master of the Game by Sidney Sheldon. And so far, the story is pretty slow-paced. I mean, it's almost 500 pages from the copy that I have. And, well, here's the description. The Blackwell family had it all. Kruger Brent, a multi-billion pound company, property across the globe, and lifestyles more glamorous than any Hollywood star. But their empire was born of naked ambition, death, and betrayal. The handsome and talented Tony Blackwell longs to be an artist, but his mother has other plans. She needs an heir, and she always gets what she wants. Even Alexandra, the stunningly beautiful Blackwell twins, one as pure and gentle as a newborn, the other a twisted, evil schemer who will stop at nothing in her quest to inherit Kruger Brent. Watching over them is one of the most powerful women in the world, Kate Blackwell. For years, she built up an unbreakable empire, sacrificing everything for the sake of her one true love, her company. She is, and always will be, the master of the game. So this is like a multi-generational story because the first book in the story starts with, well, Jamie. And then the second book, Kate, and it kind of goes on. I'm still at Jamie's part. And I'm afraid spoilers, I guess you can call it spoilers, because the characters are going to be very problematic soon. I also have a few short stories in this list of TBR, and I don't know what to call it. This is like a mixture of TBR and what I'm currently reading. Anyway, so I want to read some gothic short fiction, some written by Gertrude Atherton. One is The Striding Place, and then I also have A Dream of Red Hands by Bram Stoker, and The Bottom Ghost by R.S. Hawker. So this is like a anthology sort of book where there's like a bunch of short works, horror stuff. Gotta love me some of this. Next, I have another Bangla book, which is called Ekushi February by Johari Raihan. So it's called 21st February, and it is most definitely about the, well, the killings and the revolution that took place in 1952, 21st February. And yeah, it's a very political, historical novella, I guess. I borrowed it from one of my friends, and I don't know if I should call it a full book, but yeah, I'm looking forward to finishing this one. Next, I have, well, I'm currently rereading the fourth Harry Potter book, but I also want to, the thing is, this is the work that I'm like reading the most these days, and I'm thinking that when I finish the fourth book, I will also read the fifth, sixth, and seventh. And the thing is, it's quite special to me in weird ways that I started reading Harry Potter almost like 15 or 14, 15 years ago. And I started reading this in September. So there's a bit of a backstory is that back then since English isn't really my first language and I was a kid back then and I thought that I couldn't commit myself into reading bigger books, and Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone was definitely a big book for me. But it was Idul Fitr Day, sorry, night, and the first movie was being played on TV, and I wanted to know, and I had a lot of questions. I wanted to know what happened, and my sister gave me the copy. Well, technically, I had to offer her my chocolate so that she gives me her book. So she gave me the first two books and I read them. And then a few months later, I also read the third one. But there's like a long story. Long story short, I read up to the fifth book, up till like 400 pages of the fifth book. And then life happened and I didn't really read it. So last year, I felt like starting from the beginning and read the first two books. I read the first two books in my own language, and I thought that I should read the original text, and the original text is way better. Most definitely way, way, way better. But I did read the English one, the HB Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban and Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. I read the English text before, and I thought that I should reread them again. And whoa, this is even better now as I'm rereading it. I don't know. It's like I'm appreciating it in a very new way. So yeah, it's like I haven't really finished the fifth book or the sixth book or the seventh book. I did read parts of it over time, but yeah, I never really got to read these books. And I thought that now, out of nowhere, I suddenly felt like watching the last two Harry Potter movies a few days ago. Yes, also in September, 15 years later. And I thought that this is the time. The timing couldn't be more perfect. And so I picked up again. And last year I read the first three books again, reread the first three books, and I thought that I should read the fourth book again, and I'm having a great time. Like, this book is super fun. And I'm afraid the next books after, I guess, this is also full of spoiler. I mean, everyone knows what happens in the fourth book, right? Voldemort appears. So things are going to get darker in fifth book and sixth book and seventh book, and I'm afraid that I won't have that feeling of joy. But that's okay. I'm ready. I am ready to finish this, and I'm ready to cry. Yes, I did cry. I bawled my eyes out last year when I read the first book. I don't know. And I also teared up twice, quite a lot, reading fourth book. And I feel like Harry is such an underrated MC. Like everyone loves, Draco. I will never understand why anyone likes Draco. I understand why people will like Tom Felton, but Draco, that guy, never mind. So I really like Harry because even though yes, he's like pretty, I don't know how to say it. Like many other characters does stand out, like Luna, Tongs, even Hermione. I feel like Harry and Ron are like very much underrated. Is it just me who thinks this way? And even if, however they are perceived, or however I have heard about them so far, I think that Harry and Ron are like very nice. Ron is a very loyal best friend, and Harry, despite being abused his whole life, yeah, he's still such a nice person. And I don't know, it's great. It's great. Yeah, you could just hear me kind of like having my voice break down just a little. But yeah, I love this character, so no wonder I have to finish this. Next book that I have is also borrowed by my friend, from my friend Newbie, and is 10 minutes, 38 seconds in this strange world, written by Elif Shafak. So the description of this book is for Layla, each minute after her death brings to a sensuous memory the taste of spiced goat stew, the goat sacrificed by her father to celebrate the long awaited birth of a son. the sight of bubbling vats of lemon and sugar, which the women use to wax their legs when the men attend mosque, the scent of cardamom coffee that Layla shares with a handsome student in the brothel where she works. Each memory, too, recalls the friends she made at each key moment in her life, friends who are now desperately trying to find her. So far I've read this book is very, very sad. And I think I liked this book way more than 40 Rules of Love. I don't know. I feel like you could just see the growth of the writer in this book. And 40 Rules of Love might be one of her first English novel. And this one, 10 minutes 38 seconds in a strange world, is pretty much from the later in the list. And you can just see the growth, and I feel like the writing has more nicer tone and texture. And it's so sad. The story is very sad. And that is why I'm taking my very slow time to read this, because I get emotional very fast whenever I read or watch something. Next book, thankfully a funny one. It's Trust Me, I'm a Junior Doctor by Max Pemberton. So this is quite funny, fictional diary sort of thing. Well, I'm just gonna read it. Never mind. A roller coaster journey from idealism to bewilderment as medical novice Max Pemberton realizes that his heady ideals of saving people come at a distant second to signing forms, placating tyrannical consultants, and working out if people are actually dead. It's not as easy as you think. Max and his fellow NHA's juniors grapple with these and many other complicated questions of life, love, washing, and mental health in this funny, bittersweet, and revealing look into a hidden world of life and death and everything in between. I would say this is like a very fun story. I picked it up because I wanted to know more about the lives of writers, and so far, I have enjoyed it quite a lot. And I plan to read more from this author. Like, I think Max Pemberton has written a bunch of other stories as well. The next one is a classic, Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. And, well, it's one of those classic dystopian sci-fis. And well, the description is that Guy Montag is a fireman. His job is to destroy the most illegal of commodities, the source of all discord and unhappiness, the printed book. Montag never questions the destruction or his own bland life until he is shown a past where people didn't live in fear and a present where one sees the world through ideas. Montag starts hiding books in his home. Soon they'll make him run for his life. If I am being honest, this book has the best writing from compared to everything I have in this list, I think. Or it's just my personal taste. I think this book, the writing in this book is so beautiful. I don't know. I take my sweet time when I go through the pages and read them. It's just something the way Ray Bradbury writes. It's just it makes me want to write like him, even though I know I never can. But he's such an inspiration. I never read any Ray Bradbury books, but most definitely I will, inshallah, when I'm done with this one. And yeah, I'm glad I picked it up. It's really good, and I highly recommend this one. No wonder it's a classic. And that was it for all. I hope you can find something that you would love from this list of books and let me know what you read this. Well, for now, I have to say goodbye. Have a lit night. Bye.